All right. Thanks for jumping on. Hope I didn't keep anybody waiting too long. I guess we're right at 5. I was on the phone with some recruits talking about the game yesterday. As you guys saw, that was a pretty elite collection of talent that we had on our sideline yesterday from a recruiting standpoint, and what a display they saw of what Williams-Brice Stadium is about, and the players on the field. Also, obviously looking back at the tape, I mean, there was so much good on offense, defense, and special teams. So many great individual efforts on offense, defense, special teams. I mean, Nick Harbor, who catches a touchdown pass, but also did a great job as our gunner on the punt team and caused a fumble on a technique that we teach, where you drive that guy into the returner and try and get the ball to hit off of him. I mean, that's how we teach stuff, and it was really cool to see that show up on tape. We controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, in my opinion. We started fast. We wanted to take the ball if we won the toss, and told the team in practice on Thursday that we were going to do that. And good to be able to go down the field and get points. We challenged our defense before the game because the last 2 home games we gave up touchdowns on our opening drive to Kentucky and Oklahoma. So challenged the defense to start faster, and they did a great job starting the game. Some missed opportunities, to say the least, on offense, defense, and special teams. That game came down to 1, 2, 3 plays, and there were plenty of opportunities for us to swing that game the other way by making just one more play. Had some missed opportunities in the return game on punt return and kickoff return that could have changed that game. Got to be better in the red zone on offense and defense. They scored touchdowns, and we didn't in the red zone, and that's certainly where we have to be better. And then just we got to finish. We got to finish games in the fourth quarter. It's not like us. I mean, our record since I've been the head coach, when we lead going into the fourth quarter, has been really, really good, as I mentioned yesterday. And that's too many times now this season where we've had an opportunity to either finish a game because we were leading going into the fourth quarter, or we had the ball with the opportunity to tie it up in the fourth quarter, like we had at LSU, and didn't get it done. So that's where we need to be better, is just finishing drives and finishing games, which is disappointing because we put a big emphasis on the fourth quarter in practice and in games, and we just haven't done a good enough job of it. Looking at guys that played well, special teams, Colin Bryant and Mason Love. Colin did a great job covering kicks last night for us, made 2 solo tackles on kickoff coverage. He transferred here from Alabama a few years ago, so that was a big game for him going up against those guys. And then Mason Love, not just punting, but he really had a nice game holding for us and flipped field position with his punts. Offensively, Tree at offensive tackle. And I want to shout out the whole offensive line. I mean, I'm recognizing Tree, but I really was impressed with just our offensive line. Yes, Alabama made some plays. They had some TFLs, some sacks popped up, but we played really well, played really physical on the offensive line, played with great energy on the offensive line. Felt like Tree was the best of that bunch. And then Donovan Murph at receiver. He's a competitor. He made some plays yesterday in the passing game, as you guys saw, and someone that we got to continue to get more involved. And then defensively, Vakari Swain did a nice job. They challenged him a lot. He had some one-on-one opportunities on deep balls and did a nice job defensively, was active, caused a fumble on the blitz that we brought him on off the edge. And then Nick Barrett and Monkel Goodwine, they played their rear ends off. And if there were 2 tackles in the SEC that played better than those 2 guys this weekend as a combination, I'd like to see it, because they were all SEC type defensive tackles last night. They were active, they were physical, they created knockback, and that's who they are. So they need to continue to do that and bring that energy and physicality. But really proud of them and the way they played. I'm really proud of all of our guys and the way they played. As I said yesterday, hurt for them. They put a lot into that game, as they do every game, and we expected to win, as we've expected to win every game this year, and came up a little bit short, but it's back to work today, and another opportunity to get better, and that's our challenge this week, is to see if we can get better and close or narrow some of those margins that are keeping us from winning right now because it's razor thin, the difference in winning and losing, and we're just not making enough winning plays, particularly in critical moments, um, as we saw last night in the fourth quarter. Any questions?
Shane, going back to what you're saying about the both lines of scrimmage, how encouraging is it for you since you guys are obviously not where you want to be on the season, but with what's ahead of you, how encouraging is it that you saw that out of the lines of scrimmage and how much
Yeah,
confidence give you guys moving
very.
forward?
Not very. I mean, we've shown that we can be that team, and I thought the offensive line really did a good job. As I said, I thought the defensive line really did a good job. Gabe was banged up a little bit, so he really only played a few plays. So it was basically Monkel and Nick most of the game, and they played their rear ends off. And then the edge guys with Brian and Dylan and that crew. So yeah, very encouraging. This is an SEC league. There's no question. Or excuse me, the SEC is a line of scrimmage league, and you better be good up front. And those guys, continue to get better and play with the right temperament and mindset that they need to play with as well.
Shane, with the offensive line, was it them kind of flipping the switch and playing with that temperament and mindset that you're talking about, or is that just the result of guys being healthy?
I'd say it's a little bit of everything, and this isn't the first time they've played with that. I mean, in the Kentucky game in the fourth quarter, as I've alluded to a lot, I mean they played with that temperament and mindset then. But certainly, when you get guys healthy and you've got some depth in there, where if somebody's tired or somebody's struggling, you can put somebody else in, which we did yesterday. And then when their bodies are feeling good and they're able to turn it loose, I mean, we got a talented group, and I think it's a combination of a lot of things, but certainly they're us being healthier on the offensive line and being able to, prepare the way that we need to prepare in practice during the week. It shows up on Saturdays when you're able to do that.
Hey Shane, Lenore seems like a guy that really never seems to be bothered by whether things are going good or going bad. But with the way things ended yesterday, do you have to have any sort of special conversation with him about the way the and how that turned things around at the very end yesterday?
No, I don't think so. He gave us a chance to win, Phil. He's a competitor. He hurts more than anybody, and told him in the team meeting today in front of the team. I mean, he did a great job the entire. We've been on him about ball security going back to even last year, just when he runs, how he carries the ball, and he carried it a lot yesterday. And I thought he did a great job of carrying it with the proper technique and protecting the ball. And he was on that one too. I mean, the one that he fumbled, the play. The guy made a good play. We got to sustain that block, but the guy made contact with him and basically just grabbed the ball. And Lenoris is fighting for extra yardage, and the guy eventually just was able to get it out. But it wasn't for a lack of ball security. And Lenoris gave us an opportunity to win that game. You talk to him like you do every game, like we do all of our players. There's plays in the run game and the throw game that he needed to be better at, either making a different decision or whatever it may be. So you address those things like you always do, and I don't worry about him. I mean, obviously, the guy's trying to help us win the game, and there were a lot of plays in that game that determined the outcome that or directly affected the outcome, and that was one of them that everybody wants to talk about. But there were a lot of other ones, and he did a great job throughout the game.
Shane, going back to a one of the calls you made after Lenoris's touchdown there in the fourth quarter. What's the thought process between kicking the field goal rather than going for two and getting up 9 there?
Because it was to me, you make it an 8-point game. Now they've got to drive the field, score a touchdown, and go for two to tie the ball game. Yeah, I mean, you could be aggressive and say go for two and make it a 9-point game, but then if we don't get it, y'all are asking me on the call today, why did you not kick the extra point there and make it an 8-point game? So that was, we discussed it on the sideline for about 5 seconds during the drive that if we scored here, do we want to go for two? And it was an absolute no. It was kick the extra point, and now they've got to do two different things just to tie you go down the field, score a touchdown, and get the 2-point conversion.
Hey Shane, it's Alex. Just now with a kind of a 2 game sample size with Sean Elliott, how can you kind of assess kind of his work with that group? Now you mentioned how they were more just a physical group yesterday. Just how would you assess kind of his work with those guys?
Yeah, I think they've done an awesome job. They've, Sean's come in that room and has, he's a different personality, and they've adjusted to his personality. And that's one thing that we talked about on Tuesday, Alex, in our team meeting, that, just because I made Sean the offensive line coach before the Oklahoma game, 3 days or 4 days, 5 days, whatever it is, there's just not going to be some drastic change in 5 days, because there's still very much a feeling out process, getting to know each other process, what Sean's like in the meeting room, what Sean's like on the practice field, what Sean's like on game day, where this week, because it was week 2, there's now a better understanding of what to expect. And I thought those guys played that way yesterday, and played with the right energy and spirit, and did a great job. So credit goes to the players in that room, and then credit goes to Sean for what he's brought to that room. And yesterday was a big challenge, and the old Oklahoma defense was a big challenge, and this Saturday night in Oxford will be another big challenge for him.
Shane, if Lenoris doesn't fumble on that play, you've got 3rd and 2 at your 38 with about 90 seconds left. You got 2 timeouts. What were you thinking on the sideline as far as how you wanted to handle moving down the field? Were you just thinking enough yardage, get a field goal attempt? Were you thinking touchdown? What was going through your head?
No, I'm trying to do everything we can to go score. I mean, obviously, you're trying to get into field goal range, but we had plenty of time on that run or on that play. So we had called that play earlier in the game, Phil, and had some luck with the quarterback run game, whether it be design runs or quarterback draw. Thought we would be able to on that one. They defended it well, but it was one of those, okay, if we don't get it, then we got, plenty of time. It's 3rd down. Let's go get the 1st down and then get this thing moving. And ultimately, sure, I'd love to score a touchdown, but definitely let's get in the field goal range. And we work those scenarios all the time in practice, the 2-minute offense.
Hey Shane, it's Ben. It seemed like there were some interesting kind of wrinkles with the run game between having that tight end sort of nestled in the inside gap and some of the option stuff you did. What kind of led to maybe throwing some of that stuff out in this game, and how did you kind of assess how that worked out?
It was good. That formation is something that Sean had done at Georgia State that he liked. Can't remember if we did it in a game last year or not. We did. We did it against Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
We did it against Kentucky last year, Ben, where that guy's kind of in that A gap alignment, almost like an extra lineman. We did it against Kentucky up in Lexington. So it's something we've done in the past and wanted to bring back, and some design runs, quarterback runs, and running back runs. And really, it was more just about they're a really good defense. They do a good job keeping them off balance with formations and throwing some new stuff at them that also falls into the blueprint of what we were trying to do yesterday in regards to spreading them out a little bit and maximizing our best schemes and personnel, which we try and do every Saturday, every game.
Makes sense.
Shane, after Nick's touchdown, what was the issue with getting that 2-point play call? Was it communication, decision, going for 2 or kicking it, or
no? And that's why I was so frustrated, Hale, was because there shouldn't have been any confusion, because I had said on the headphones well before that play that if we scored a touchdown, I was going to go for 2. So I had made that decision prior to the touchdown, and that had been conveyed to the coaches. And the coaches were well aware. I mean, Mike had a call. We got the ball on the hash that we wanted. Mike made the call that I knew we were going to call. So there wasn't an issue with the staff. It was I think players, and I was frustrated. I think players, that's an emotional moment. We catch the touchdown pass, they're celebrating, but we need to have some awareness of, hey guys, like we can't celebrate too long, because those are things that we talk about in our team meeting. Like there's a 40-second play clock on an extra point or a 2-point conversion. And we can't celebrate too long. And, I think too many guys got caught up in the moment a little bit right there. And that was my frustration, was just that we had been talking about this, with our guys, that when we score a touchdown, we're going to go for two. And then we celebrated too long.
Hey Shane, there was a punt. I think it was early in the third quarter where you end up kind of sending the house and don't have a returner back. I was sort of curious, like just the approach on that kind of play is that you guys get a big stop and just want to kind of keep that momentum going. What kind of goes into that?
It was a rush where we're bringing basically 9 people. Most
Mm-hmm.
people on a rush, they're bringing 7 or 8, and they have some
Mm-hmm.
people popping out for fakes and things like that. We brought 9 people on a rush, something very similar
Mm-hmm.
that we did against Alabama last year, I believe. And in that instance, Vakari is the returner, but he's down, kind of, just covering down for a fake, because if we do that, we don't have a ton of eyes on the fake because they're rushing. So bringing Vakari down just to kind of cover down and protect on the fake. And then we liked it against Alabama, Ben, because their punter had been a little bit inconsistent in regards to how far he was kicking the ball. And, give him credit. We brought max pressure and he bombed one. And, Vakari, we wanted him to be able to kind of cover down and then get back and field the punt. And he bombed the punt, and it was hard for Vakari to get back to it. But that's what the thinking is on that one: be aggressive and try and block a punt, and kind of a max type look, which is something similar we did against Alabama. We should have blocked a punt against them last year, backed up in their own end zone, and we didn't quite execute the right way.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Anyone else?
Will you guys have a Halloween party in Oxford? Right.
I hope we have a great question, Phil. I hope we have a Halloween party celebration in Oxford. When is Halloween? Friday night? Yeah, I think we're staying in Tupelo, so I'm not sure what the Halloween festivities will be in Tupelo on Friday night, but we'll be hunkered down in Tupelo, and then hopefully can celebrate Halloween Saturday night in Oxford.
Go visit
I
El.
guess just how has you mentioned it earlier, but the response of the team after a game like that, what was kind of their emotions and stuff coming into the building today?
Hurt. They're all competitors, and that's sports. When you put a lot into something and you invest into something a lot and you lay it all out there on the field, you risk really, really, really hard disappointment. And that's what they dealt with yesterday. But not preparing the right way can guarantee you got no chance. And they put a lot into it. They fully expected to win that game, and they really hurt in that locker room after the game. And they hurt coming into the building today. So we're going to continue to pour into them and continue to coach, and we're about to hit the practice field here in a few minutes and get right back to work, and see how much better we can get this week as we go into Oxford.
Shane, what real quick on Traven? He posted last week, I think maybe it was Thursday, he said that he was getting ready for his final surgery. Does that mean he's closer to being back in some
Yeah,
sort of?
he's very close, Hale. He was actually on the practice field last week, which was a really, really, really cool moment in a lot of ways, for our team. Normally, when he comes out to practice, he sits up on the balcony overlooking our practice fields, outside his office. Uh, this week, he was in the training room doing some stuff, and we were able to get a golf cart to pick him up and drive him across the practice field to where the defense was. And then he got out of the golf cart and was able to stand kind of behind the play and watch the guys on the field. And I know our players really love that, and being able to come over there and talk to him and touch him and see him and whatnot. So yes, he had a surgery last week, and don't know exactly what it means for his status this week, but he's very, very close um, to being back out there, which would be awesome for all of us.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hey Shane, it seemed like you got some mileage out of that jet sweep look with Matthew Fuller. Just do you feel like the group is kind of getting better, kind of more comfortable blocking that?
Yeah, there's a couple that we didn't block quite the right way, Ben, where we left a couple guys unblocked, which is disappointing. But yeah, that's just, we wanted to get more. We had when we did that look, I think we had two running back. I think we had two running backs on the field at the same time, and that's a personnel package that we like, and we work on perimeter runs all the time, whether it be jet sweeps or bubbles or whatever it may be. So we got to continue to get better at blocking on the perimeter. But we did like that scrimmage today, and good job Matt running it.